Hello, this is Dr. Brie-Anna Willey, and this is my channel, Business for Nerds. I'm interviewing entrepreneurs so we can mutually support each other in business. Today I have Meg Young on the show, and she's going to talk about her business and the services she provides. Hi, Meg. How are you doing today?
Wonderful, Brie-Anna. How are you?
Pretty good. It's been a busy week. Let's see. So tell me a little bit about your business. What's the name of your business? What do you do?
Sure. So Lifestyle Reboot is the name of my business. And you can find me, my website is lifestylereboot.me, M-E. I love that because I think it's all about me, right? You know, whoever's lifestyle it is that you're working on, it's all about you, right? So
Yeah.
lifestylereboot.me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and what I do is I help therapists who are working on private practices feel more comfortable with their marketing. A lot of times we're taught not to make it about ourselves. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
we didn't go to business school. So it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of this weird new way of marketing. Also, a lot of times with when people are in agencies, they just have the people come to them. So it's a whole
Right.
different way of looking at marketing, right? It's like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, I now have to put myself out there. And what do I do? I can't do that. That's weird. So I
Mm-hmm.
help therapists who are ready to get into private practice kind of get over a lot of the anxiety of marketing, that it really isn't as scary as you think it is.
So yes, I think a lot of us, we weren't trained in marketing and business and
Mm-mm.
understanding any of that. I had to teach myself a lot of it. How did you learn about marketing?
Similar. I had to teach
Uh-huh.
myself, and it's
Uh-huh.
hard. It's a whole new
Mm-hmm.
way of looking at things. And, you know, depending on who you're talking to, they have a whole lot of different ideas of how you do it. And sometimes it just doesn't feel right. You know, and one of the things that people said, and I say to people, for example, is therapists actually make pretty good marketers, because what
Mm-hmm.
is marketing? Building relationships, right? And I'm like, wow, wonderful way of, but I couldn't apply it. It's like I still
Yeah.
can't figure this out. So it took a long time to figure out that aspect of how I can understand marketing in a way that works for me. And I've
Mm-hmm.
gone through so many different webinars and different things like that to try and make it make sense in my own brain.
Yeah.
So it's a lot
Teaching
of learning.
yourself, and now
Yeah,
you're teaching others what you learned, and you know how to do it because it was like trial by fire kind of thing.
exactly. Exactly. And it's always going out of your comfort zone. And that's the hard part too. So that's what I do a lot with people, is that aspect
Yeah.
of the anxiety with it. Because it is
Mm-hmm.
outside your comfort zone. It's not what you're used to.
Right. Yes, like you were saying about agency work, we received those referrals just directly from them, but now we have to find the referrals ourselves, and it's scary. And we have
Hmm.
to charge. Oh my goodness, that's scary
Right.
too.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you go straight into private pay. I mean, if you do insurance, it's hard enough to ask for the copay, but at least it's understandable. You know, you go to a doctor, you give them the copay. But when
Mm-hmm.
it's private pay and it's like, can I do this? Can I ask them for that amount of money? You know, it's a little scary.
Yeah, you get it. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Let's see. Is there a piece of advice that you'd like to share with therapists about maybe one part of marketing? What do you think?
I am not a huge extrovert. I am a little bit more of an introvert, which I think a lot of therapists are. And yep. And one of the things that has been super helpful for me is, and I think for you too, because you have the YouTube channel and stuff, is social media, right? Where we
Mm-hmm.
can edit, we can look at it again, we can kind of go over it 100,000 times so that
Mm-hmm.
our perfectionist brains can say,
Yes.
oh, yeah, that's exactly what I want.
Uh-huh.
So I will say that, you know, that there's ways to market that even introverts can be very successful at. You know, you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to be an extrovert and, you know, just go to all these marketing and networking events and all these things that drain you of your energy. And you can still be very successful at marketing.
I like that. I really like that. Everyone can market. You can find your own way with marketing,
Yes.
your own path. Very
Yes.
cool.
The other thing that I think too that was really helpful for me, people kept talking about marketing, marketing, and me too for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
But then I switched the word to advertising, because people
Oh,
talked about instead of sales, it's service, right?
Ooh.
And I couldn't figure that out. You're
Mm-hmm.
not selling, you're providing a service type thing. I couldn't figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Advertising made a lot more sense to me. I'm not sure why advertising was less scary for me than marketing,
Hmm.
but advertising felt less intimidating to me.
Yeah. Like reframing it in a way that was less scary for you.
Exactly.
Neat. Very cool. And you help with anxiety too. And you also said imposter syndrome. Can you tell
Hmm.
us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So many therapists have imposter syndrome. And
Mm-hmm.
every time we do something new, we get imposter syndrome again. So if we go into private practice and then we go into getting off insurance panels and then we go into niching and whatever it may be, every single time we end up with more imposter syndrome, or not more, but imposter syndrome again.
It
It's like,
builds.
yeah, didn't I get over this already? um, so it's natural. It's natural part of being getting better at what you do, but at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, it doesn't have to hold you back. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that that's a huge piece that I like to work with as well. And I don't only work with therapists on that piece. I mean, I really do niche down with my marketing for therapists.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also just small business owners in general. And small business owners in general, they also struggle with imposter syndrome. They even struggle with marketing, but they struggle with
Mm-hmm.
that imposter syndrome. They struggle with anxiety. You know, where am I going to get my next sale? How am I going to do my next piece of my business? How do I grow from here? There's always a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of anxiety. So that's where I focus, not just on building, helping you through your marketing, but also through the anxiety and imposter syndrome.
Neat. Very cool. And another question, how did you become interested in helping therapists with marketing and just helping them in general?
That was a journey. So I started out, in private practice. I started even before private practice. I was like, I'm never going into private practice. I can't sit still. I can't sit for an hour,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then another hour, and then another hour. It's just not
Right.
who I am. I'm never going into private practice. I decided to open up my private practice and see like one person a day. Loved it. Loved it. So then I was like, okay, let's do a little bit more. Let's do a little bit more. And then I finally just opened up my practice full time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and finding my way, finding out who I was, who I wanted to work with, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But as I'm doing this, just naturally, I'm talking to people, just about opening my business and just about just where I am in my business growth. And
Mm-hmm.
people were very inspired by what I was doing. And I've heard that over and over and over, in terms of
Mm-hmm.
just being inspired by what I do to help them get to their next level. You can do this, I can do it too. And
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking about it every now and then with people, with therapists. So as I was trying to figure out, where do I go next in my career? What's my next growth opportunity?
Mm-hmm.
I was going through all sorts of different options. Um, you know, I love exercise. I love trying to be healthy. So I'm like, well, maybe I can do something in that regard. That didn't really go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, well, I can help people. There's something else. I can't remember what it is right now. I'm drawing a blank on it, but there's something else. And then I was like, oh, well, I can do something with helping people with their mindset when it comes to having diabetes. Why did I choose diabetes? But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
helping people with diabetes manage their mindset around it.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't feeling good for me though. It wasn't.
Mm-hmm. The
Um,
feeling that was part
yeah,
of it. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So then talking to some people, some coaches and stuff, and they're like, do what you do. You're a therapist. I'm like, yeah, but I can't do therapy. I'm doing coaching. It's completely different. So what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
And they helped me to see that inspiring piece where I just naturally talk about what I do and love what I do on my
Mm-hmm.
journey and stuff, and inspiring other people to do that. I mean, several people have opened their business because I was just sharing my story with it. Even ones that were saying, not me, never. I come back to work and they're like, I opened my practice. I'm like, you did what? So that's
Awesome.
kind of them helping me figure out that naturally this is what I do. I just
Mm-hmm.
naturally talk to people
You
about how,
teach.
because I'm passionate about it. I'm not even teaching per se, just
Mm-hmm.
sharing my journey with it. So then
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, now I've got to figure out how I do it. I've got to actually write this down. What do I do? Because I just
Yeah.
do, and I don't always pay attention to what I do.
Right. The
Well,
process.
how did you get with insurance panels? I don't remember. I just filled out applications. Well, where'd you find the, I don't remember where I found the applications. Right? I mean, so I had to start really thinking about what did I do? But then it
Mm-hmm.
was really like, okay, so it wasn't just about opening your practice, the logistics of opening your practice. It's more that mindset piece, because that's what I was doing with people. I was helping them get inspired. I was helping them get not motivated, but encouraged to want to open their practice. So that was kind of how this all fell into play.
Neat. Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing your story with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything else you want to tell us about Lifestyle Reboot?
Um, so Lifestyle Reboot, what I do within that is it's generally a 8-week program. So it's
Okay.
pretty structured.
Mm-hmm.
There is room for play, so if, what I'm doing this week doesn't seem to fit where you're at, it's very easy. I can adjust what we're doing this week, but it is a relatively structured program for 8 weeks. And I like to see in what I'm doing right now, the way the program is structured right now, which could change in years moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
is it's 2 hour or 2 sessions a week. And the first session is really focused on the tools themselves. And the second session is really focused on using the tools, implementing the tools, practicing the tools, and that sort of thing. So we have a practical component and an integrative component. It's not the right word, but immersive part, whatever the word is that I'm looking for.
Yeah, that
Um,
works.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, right, it's an 8-week program. And then after that, so 16 sessions twice a week. And after that
Mm-hmm.
8 weeks, just you're not necessarily going to be feeling completely 100% confident. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to continue to work with me, we can continue to work. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and if you feel like, what, I've got enough, I'm not completely confident, but I'm confident enough, I can do this, then you're out
Mm-hmm.
on your own at that point, but you can always call me if you'd like some more.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like 8 weeks and you never see me again type thing.
Yeah, you're there if they need you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very neat. So that's is that the anxiety management or what is that
It's
called?
actually both. Yes, those two, they both are an 8-week program. They are structured
Mm-hmm.
similarly, right? Where you have the tools and then you have the practical
Mm-hmm.
piece,
Mm-hmm.
practice piece. So they're structured similar, but they are different within them.
Oh, okay. Okay. Neat. Anything else you wanted to tell us about you or your work?
So that's what I do for coaching, and I love it. I think it's an amazing. I love helping people